Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Big 3 podcast. I am here, as always, with my co-host, Gary. And this time we are joined by Cal PT.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Been a long day, but I'm enjoying myself.
Good. I'm glad you're here. This is going to be one of our less organized episodes.
Yeah.
Because Cal's the homie, right? We know this guy. Most of the people we have on, we kind of like think about topics. We have some plans, but Cal's definitely the type of guy we can just sit down and talk to. You mentioned before that you wanted to talk about like the origin of like Cal being the homie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good way to
I
put
think
it.
it's actually pretty interesting because a lot of people know that we're friends outside of Smash or were, but they don't know how close we were. So
yeah, or like how it happened.
Me and Drew grew up in the same small town. We went to the same middle school, and that's actually where we met. We met in our science class.
Okay, so
You guys are the same year then?
yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna provide a little bit of context. It's 8th grade. We're both like 13. I don't remember how old 8th graders are. I'm a shithead. I'm like a total like rambunctious asshole in middle school, right? So we're in science class, and the teacher that we have is like particularly strict, right? She's very hard nosed,
Very light.
anything out of line is like a big issue. And me and Callum are both like stupid and like super hyper and just can't ever shut the fuck up ever.
Okay.
Right?
But you guys were hilarious, I'm sure.
Dude, like
I think we were pretty
in the
funny.
moment it was so funny, and there's a couple things looking back in hindsight that are kind of funny, but a lot of it's like, wow, we were a total asshole to this like old woman, right?
Yeah.
She kind of deserved it.
Yeah, because it's kind of the vibe where it's like, why are you beefing with a 13-year-old,
Yeah.
right? Like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
She was definitely a little bit instigatory, but, or, whatever the word is. But yeah, regardless, we met in middle school because I don't even remember how it came up, but the first thing we talked about was Rocket League.
Yep.
Like, yo, you're gold 3, you're pretty good. We should play together, you know what I mean? So that's how we, like, met, and then moving into high school, we kind of, like, got a little bit closer. We were both kind of, like theater kid adjacent, right? Like not really, but like slightly
Did
involved.
you guys do like backstage or?
I was.
He was on stage.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was just like friends with all of them. I just like went to all of the shows and like joined them at practice sometimes, right?
But we were in the same friend group, like from all the way from 8th grade to now. We have had the same friend group, and I'm like, I've been to his house millions of times. Like we've hung out very, very, very regularly all the time throughout the summers. And
then there's also the like Daveid and Smash connection, right?
Okay, so I'll get to that one.
Okay.
So
We
Smash comes out, and our mutual friend bought the game, and we had a lot of fun with it, so we were starting to play. And it was actually
like every time we hung out for like 3 years,
we were playing.
it was just Smash.
And so we're freshman year of high school, so I'm like 14, 15, and I don't know what it was called. It was called like some like student body. You know how every high school.
It was
SAD.
The SAD Club, SADD, and it was like students against like destructive decisions or something.
Yeah.
It was to
Oh
prevent
my God.
like underage like drug use and stuff. You know what I mean?
And
It was-
so they hosted a Smash tournament.
Really?
And so
Okay.
I found out about it and a few others. So
uninvolved with us, by the way.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
And so I was, a bunch of us were preparing, and it was a fun storyline because at the time it was like we knew that there's some really good in the context of high schoolers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see where this is going. I see where
And
this
so
is
it all
going.
leads up, and the top 4 end up being me, David, our friend Josh, who doesn't go to tournaments, and our friend Keegan in high school, who also doesn't go to tournaments.
I ate shit at that tournament.
And
by the
Drew
way.
sucks.
I went like 1 and 2 at that tournament.
Drew sucked.
was
And
They had
bad.
doubly limb.
Dude,
yeah.
listen.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
My
Because
brother ran
most
the
of the
bracket.
Oh, did he? Okay.
most of the setups were pretty legit because of that, right? We had decent setups, we
Oh,
had like
that's
decent
good.
standards because his brother knew what he was doing, right?
That's good.
But there was one setup, and this is where I played my
projector
This is where I played my
Oh,
losers
you
bracket.
always have. Every time you have a
was-
school tournament,
Yep.
has to be a projector setup.
Most of it was in the lunchroom, right? Like
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
tables.
yeah.
It was actually like a decent like venue for a tournament. But then there's one setup because we were running like pretty behind schedule. We set one up in the library on a projector.
Terrible.
Like massive, huge. The size of one of the walls in this room. And it has like 3 frames of input delay, and he plays Young Link, and I was just like so upset. that was like also
You're like,
a
this is
friend
my
of mine.
chance to prove myself.
literally.
No, it was like we're like running across the class as fast as we can because we have so little time. So it's like we would play a set, win, then everyone's yelling, "You got to play your next set," and you're like,
really?
Yeah, because we were low on time.
Why were you so low on time? Was
It's
this
just-
during school hours or?
No, it was after school, but it was one of those things where they needed us out by like 10 or 11 or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, really?
And we started at like 6. There were actually like quite a few people there. There were
It's like over 20. It's like 20 or 30.
Yeah, it was
and we never ran a
decent
break.
for like literally just people in our
So-
high school.
Long story
Okay.
short, that tournament goes, and so then my brother starts hosting tournaments. He like makes a club, and so all of us who
For
were-
the school.
Yeah, we got
So all of us who,
got a
were,
Smash
who
Club going.
played were like, oh, let's like get together. So every week we'd have a local, Friday after our school, and that's then where me, David, and all of us, started playing.
Kingfisher.
I will say,
Yeah.
I've known David since I was very young. Like we did Cub Scouts together, so I've known him since I was like 6.
Can David whittle or not?
Okay.
Like
But were you like homies with him?
no,
Okay.
we were we'd say we were
Okay,
friends,
I got you.
acquaintances, but it wasn't like I was hanging out with him all the time. And so then Smash, slowly me and David just start to pull away and become like the best of the group because we just cared the most. And I'd say
Yeah.
Let it
David
be
was
known.
definitely the best. He played Little Mac at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about
Yeah,
that
so-
era.
So the first high school tournament, he always played Little Mac Lucas, but usually used Little Mac. I played Greninja.
Yo, Kyle, you should talk more like the
I
Little
played
Mike, by the way.
Greninja, and then so yeah, essentially, me and David went to our first tournament in I think June of 2019, and that's how it all came from. And so
Then I started tagging along that March, and let it be known there was a period of time where me and David were like close, like there was a bit of rivalry.
his Little
between
Mac
me-
against
yeah.
you playing Ness?
Yeah.
Or-
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Ness has been my character like
You've
since the
always-
game came
yeah,
out.
you've
It was
always-
like the first like 2 weeks I played a few. I'm like, oh man, my Wario's kind of nice. You know what I mean? But I settled on Ness. I don't even remember why.
Oh, really? Like you don't even remember why you started
No,
to play
I
Ness?
think like most of my there was a period of time where I was like, okay, Dark Samus is the truth. That's my character because I had a homie who played Peach and he would side B over and over and I didn't know what to do about it. I played Dark Samus and I beat him. Like that's my main.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't
That
even know
is
how I
it
wound
works,
up
yeah.
on Ness, but there was a period of time where I thought Ness and Lucas were like the same character, and then I picked up Ness and I'm like, oh, this one's better. This one's better.
But yeah, so that's how it got. And then a couple years later, Drew's at tournaments and someone needed commentating, and I was like, Drew, you should do it because I'm friendly.
I was like, dude, I don't know anything.
So just like how Drew brings along random friends sometimes to movement, Drew was the random friend that
yes.
you brought
Yep,
to a
that-
movement.
That's
David
why
brought,
I do it.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Is because my first tournament, I showed up and I'm like, man, I don't really know what to do. I was just kind of hanging out, having fun. Cal took me there, and then the TO was like, hey, we need commentators, and I was nervous. I didn't want to do it because I was I don't know anything about the game. How could I add anything? I guess I still don't, but I was nervous. I was like, I shouldn't do that. And Cal was like, you don't have to know about the game. Look at this clip, and he
It's
showed
just
me,
Arbiter.
Yeah, he showed me an
Oh.
Arbiter clip of it was the one from
The
Priority.
Cole,
I
he
don't
broke
think
a
I'll-
whatever.
yeah,
He
yeah.
broke a shield and was charging neutral B, and Arbiter's screaming.
Arbiter's just screaming, and I'm like, I could do that. That looks fun. You know what I mean? And I started doing it, had a blast, and that's how we both wound up sitting in a podcast room at a school that I'm attending because of Smash.
Because of Smash
now,
Bros.
Now we're here. It changed our lives in ways.
Yeah.
Which is so
Weirdly
Yeah, there's a
more
lot-
than
yeah,
you.
there's a
so
lot.
stupid.
Like, I think what's funny is me and David thought we were gonna be the ones that had not our lives changed by the game, but
Yeah.
we're gonna
Bigger
play it in
impact.
the future. It's a big part of what we do. And then Drew is going to school for it, and
Yeah.
Drew just becomes the one that has the commentating talent and then the Smash thing. So I just
Right.
always found that was hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
for
how
sure.
that turned out.
Because that was always my thing is that I loved competition, but I was bad at competing. So I wanted to be around it, and that's that's why commentary.
When if I can ask, because we don't have him here right now. When did David turn into Daveid? Was he always Daveid?
He was always Daveid.
Really?
His first tournament was Daveid. It was just his name was David, and he just thought it'd be funny if he just
To just
added-
add an E?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because it's just Dave.
Right.
David.
Yeah.
So it's
I understand.
just-
that.
my
Then
first,
I think day one when he signed up with that tag, Callan's brother was like, "Oh, fucking Dave ID." You know what I mean? It was the first thing he said, and then it never
not.
dropped. It just
Well, of
always
course,
stayed.
I mean-
dude, because that was the dynamic of Callum and his brother sitting in the front of the car with me and David in the back of the
God.
car was so funny because they found the littlest shit to argue about, and then me and David would just be in the back instigating and egging it on. So funny every time. The one that always sticks in my head.
this one, the big
is-
house one. Or?
No, this isn't
Oh,
it.
okay,
It's the one where Cal and his brother are in the front seat of the car arguing about whether hot air or cold air like defogs the windows faster, and they're getting they're getting like mad at each other, right? And again, like they're like 14 and 17, right?
Yeah.
And then David just like leans over to the window next to him and goes, and just blows in it, right? And he goes, the cold air worked faster.
I was right. I'm just put it out there.
And then Callum, obviously because it supported his side of the argument, used that as gospel.
Yeah.
He's like, see, that's what I said. It was so fun. That was such a fun era, man.
Yeah, I miss it. David's off at Purdue now. If David watches these, hello. I hope you're doing good.
I don't know if he does. I hope he does.
I hope.
Yeah, we gotta DM him this episode.
Yeah,
or all of them.
So one thing that there's two like big topics in like Smash at a whole right now, and it feels important to at least touch on them. We'd be remiss to not.
I think this to comment. I think this episode will be a little bit more Smash Bros. The previous couple have been like more like
community,
like community and more.
This is Smash
wider,
Bros.
But I think this is going to be a little bit more Smash Bros.
Right.
Okay.
So two big things right now are Genesis and that new official tier list.
Yeah.
And I think Cal had some thoughts on the tier list that he wanted to bring up.
Okay, I didn't have too many thoughts, but if you guys, for who those are watching, see the tier list, I think it's pretty good. The only one I had a big problem with was Sheik. That shit pissed me off.
Cal's just seething about the Sheik placement.
About it being low? Like you think she's low?
Yeah,
Where is she?
She's like B+. She's like top 30 in that.
Like what's she? Who are the two characters she's next to?
She is in between ZSS and Ryu.
Like,
below ZSS,
not
I think
crazy.
that's pretty bad. I think
Really?
Yeah, I think Sheik is pretty significantly better than
Sheik's
ZSS.
so good.
But like I
Like so
yeah,
good.
Go ahead and articulate your
Okay,
argument.
I'll say this. I think Sheik is very much like Diddy Kong players. I have the problem with both of them is they always love to over-complexify their character. They love to just press as many buttons, pop gun cancels, and like they just have consistent follow-up options that work at pretty much any percent. I think the way that I view a good character, this is going to be really weird. I watched a clip a long time ago. It was Riddles versus Esam, and Riddles was playing Terry. And so Esam's at like 130, and Riddles hits a soft land nair just out of neutral, and then combos that in the back air at like 140 true, and Pika dies. And I'm like, that's a good character, where it's like your stray hit, you don't necessarily have to drift in perfectly. Just based on hitting a stray, you can then react and position yourself to confirm it, to kill off of it. That improvisation strength. I think that makes a really good character.
Well,
Sheik has that.
Sheik doesn't
spades.
Sheik doesn't have that for killing though. That's the problem.
Yeah, she needles kills at like.
Needles are much more niche than you might think. Needles as an offstage like edge guard situation, that's like different. But if you like
dodge and in neutral, and then they just die to up air at like 170.
Like. But then
that is 170.
That's like one, that's 170, and two,
do
that's
your
like
character have
that's
combos at 170?
If I hit Wolf mid back air at 170, they're dying anywhere on the stage. Like,
yeah, see, that's the thing
right?
is that most characters don't need combos at 170, right? Like Ness doesn't, but it's because all of my aerials and all but one of my tilts and like a couple of my touches.
All but one of my fucking F tilt.
It's down tilt.
It's down tilt.
Ness kicking me, bro. Like die at 140.
It's absurd.
Ness up tilt killing is the funniest thing ever, by the
Yeah.
way, because there's never kill sparks. It's just whoosh, you die. It's so good.
But no, I just think Sheik is broken, so I just thought it was a little silly.
I definitely think Sheik is solid. My thing looking at this, I don't think there's a 2-tier difference between like a Sheik and a Joker. I think they both work really hard. I think
Sheik and Diddy Kong.
Joker obviously has the X factor, and in this game you need some sort of absurd X factor to like be in.
Yeah,
that
I think
higher
that's
tier
like
range.
kind of my thing. I think for Sheik to like keep up.
She's got like forward tilt. That's all she needs. Range drop. 80% you're dead.
Yeah, but like
Forward
I
tilt
guess
has an X factor.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I know it's not like the built-in X Factor DLC.
No, yeah, I know what you mean though.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
okay,
like,
yeah.
it's like but like, your thing for me it's like what if that person that's playing Sheik like hit confirms 3 frames too late on their F tilt hitting, right? If they like see it that their F tilt hits like 3 frames too late, then their combo doesn't work anymore.
okay,
Right.
don't be bad.
Yeah, but like
like that's just
that's like too little of a lot of characters can like Okay, what I'm thinking of specifically is Diddy Kong down tilt, right? Diddy Kong down tilt and already like buffers a dash forward to then hit back air or up smash.
You have a lot of time
right?
to react.
But like no, I'm buffering the dash forward, and then during my dash forward animation, I'm reacting, right? I'm not reacting during the like if the down tilt hits or not. I'm reacting after I'm already pressing forward.
To be fair,
which she can't do.
To be fair, what's the downside to committing with like full hop as Sheik? You know, like that's the worst case scenario. You forward tilt,
you're getting out
you're
pretty
full
quickly.
hopping.
Like, but I mean, like then I don't know. I think Sheik does sort of struggle to land vertically. She has to, like she really wants to go to the ledge, and like you're also just this light character. Like this game is just so bullshit.
That's
like you're above Kazuya, like you're above Kazuya, right? You F tilt, Kazuya shields it. Like you're doing a full, like you're buffering a full hop. Kazuya's mashing up you at a shield, and you die at 80 or whatever, right? Like I don't know. I just like the ways that Sheik can kill are just so much more niche than the ways that like other characters can kill.
I don't know. I just think she has a lot of kill options, and she's way like very creative.
See, I think
not
what
linear.
She's completely not linear. But like so is fucking Steve. Steve's so linear. But you just can't punish minecart down air.
Okay, that's
right?
different. Yeah, that's just
like. But that's what's good in this game, right?
That's the
I was
best
gonna
character in the
say,
game.
Yeah,
I think the only like what Sheik is missing is one just like fuck you move, right? I feel like most of the characters above Sheik have at least one move where it's like this move makes this character stupid.
Like,
where Sheik has a lot of phenomenal moves, but there's none that she can just like throw out always, and it just is always helpful.
I think she does. All, her moves you can throw out them always, and they're always helpful, but they all do 4% and medium knockback. Right.
Yeah.
Nothing sends at like the evil angle that is like Nest down smash. I'm serious.
No, you're right. That's just a funny way of putting it.
Even Sheik down smash sends like normal.
It's very easy to mix up your recovery versus like Sheik down smash, forward smash, up smash, the weak hit, right? Like I don't know. That's like her not having, and like none of her smash attacks. They all get comboed into though. They do all get comboed into, but their knockback, their base knockback is not that high. Is that the right way to say it? But like none of the, like you won't see like even if you get an up air drag down forward smash, you're not killing unless you're at the ledge and the opponent's at 120, right? And that's just like other characters get to do that, but earlier. Is kind of what I'm saying.
I guess,
that's true.
But not. I don't know. I would prefer to have combo into smash attack that's not as strong. It's like the Pac-Man argument almost, with the up smash. I don't know. I would rather have smash attack that doesn't kill as much but combos into it than smash attack that kills way earlier but can't be comboed into.
See, I'll say this though. Looking at where Sheik is on the tier list, I think she's a perfect like spot in terms of breaking up the characters that like have one thing that they go for and the characters that have multiple busted things that they go for. Because I look at the characters under Sheik and it's like Greninjas and Falcos and Sephiroth and Luigi where they have like one mega busted thing that they just do all the time. And then all the characters above Sheik, I'm looking at like the Corins, the Pac-Mans, the Marios, like even like the PT have like such a wide variety of shit they can hit you with. I think Sheik is a perfect like barrier for that because she has the variety, but the options aren't like as stupid. You know what I mean? She has like all those options.
Yeah, I think there's like a theoretical world that let's say like a Spargo or someone that or like an MKLeo like decided that they were only going to play Sheik from now until the end of time or the end of Smash Bros.
Right.
Or Smash Ultimate. Like I think that they could make Sheik a top 10 character. I think they could, but I think I like haven't seen it yet. If that makes sense.
I think about
play.
He's he's good. He's clearly very good, but but he's not getting top 8 at every major, right? Like he gets his wins here and there. He's beaten Light. He's beaten he lost to Sinji, bro. He fucking lost to Sinji. Like
Pac-Man Sheik.
Yeah, no, but like you need a Sheik. If you are claiming that Sheik is that good, Sheik needs to be able to go toe to toe with Pac-Man, right?
I mean, like, I guess, but I feel.
And I think she does. Like it's
I'll say this,
it's
though,
okay,
about,
but
she's gotten
about
better
that
results
argument.
than like Kurama Mario recently.
no.
I'll say this about that argument. I think
in the last like 8 months, I think.
Oh, 8 months. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Put her in the category you said where it's I see the vision.
I see the vision too.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I think there are probably like looking at this tier list below S tier. There's maybe like 20, 30 characters where if they got the same amount of attention as the characters in S tier, they could be like way better than they are. I think in a world where the ultimate meta is fully fleshed out, this would take 30 or 40 years, right?
Yeah.
Where every character is like fully figured out and everyone is like figured out. I think there are so many characters that would be so much better than they are on this tier list. But I think the whole like if this character just had a top rep, then they could be so much better thing. It's like you could say that about so many people, which is why I say I see the vision with like anything. Because okay, this is something I wanted to bring up about this tier list because I think it's really funny.
Yeah.
I think it was like August of last year. I tweeted like my thoughts on the meta right now, and it was like Steve and Sonic in like God tier. Game & Watch just below them, like plays the game for you or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I had Snake, Pyramithra, Rob, and Fox in a tier just below them. And then I said, I will tell you, I see the vision about literally any pick below this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny that first of all, I had the exact same top 6 as this tier list that came out. Yeah. But secondly, I still think a lot of the discourse about this game is just like oh, if this character had that, then they could be so much better. And that was kind of the basis of what I had said in August, where it's like, yeah, all of that is definitely true. Sheik totally could be great if somebody put 10,000 hours into it.
I also think that like I think that Sheik, Rosa, and like Ice Climbers are my 3 like if someone played this character like nonstop all the time, I think this character could be top 15. Yeah. I think those like.
What about like a Lucas?
I don't think so. I think Lucas
is too bad.
Lucas is.
I agree.
Like Lucas's room to push is like stuff that's very obvious.
Yeah, it typically bases around execution of that one thing.
I would watch Purdue locals of like Daveid playing against like the top Purdue players, including himself. I mean, he's super good, but. He'll play like Cantaloupe or some Sortie or some Steve, where it's just like the amount of effort he has to put in to get like one hit, and then they just do that. Like I feel bad every time I watch.
See, and David's execution's pretty good.
It's
with like the Zaire stuff, the one frame thing. He's like pretty good with that execution, but it's like that's always the thing about like what really separates the busted characters in this game from the ones below is that like it's all this execution trying super hard for these crazy Zaire strings and footstools, or like I think of Ness, right, where you get all of these like frame one fly mags and cancels across the whole stage and footstools and all this, and it'll get you like 60% maybe a stock, right, where like a Steve, a Game & Watch, a Pyramithra, a Rob is doing all of that just with a fraction of the effort, right?
Well,
sometimes it is just
they're also doing it like most of those characters are also doing it with a initially safer move, right? Like a Game & Watch Rising in Air, it's much easier to react off of a hit, and also it's just safer on shield than like a Ness doing like a side B off of the platform or something.
Yeah. Or I'll say this though, is that
I'm serious.
No, I'm laughing just because like you just made me think of Ness side B on platform. I just got like.
Well, I could talk about even worse examples, but that was like a medium example.
I'm just like that. It's just annoying. It's annoying.
See, I was going to say a lot of the Ness stuff that people are finding are off of just like fair. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff that like Ness Boy 12 from Cali is doing, it's just like fair at 20 and then you die for it, which is
really.
Oh yeah. It's fair into. Magnet, and if you do it properly, it is true, and it will just combo across the whole stage into footstools, into fly mags, into spike, and you die.
Really?
But it's so hard. It's so hard.
Dude.
I think like based on what I've seen, Ness Boy has made me see the light. I think perfect execution Ness is straight up top 10 in this game. It's like Kazuya with better mobility, but the thing is, it's so hard, and no one's doing it. None of the good Nesses are doing it because it's so hard. Yeah,
which are hard, but hard like easy enough to where
right, and that's what makes the difference between a Ness and a Kazuya is that Ness's combos, there are 3 people on the planet who can do them, where Kazuya combos, if we spend 20 minutes, we could do
a couple of them.
You know what I'm saying?
We
could
probably
sit down for 20 minutes and do medium level Kazuya.
We could probably all do the 0 to death on like a CPU, and the combo counter like hit to 10 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like I think we could all do that in like
we could
half
do
an
the
hour.
true combo, right? Which, is not to like put down Kazuya players. That's just like how.
Nah, dude,
that's just
I
how
hate
the game works. That's how it is.
Gary's
willing
I'm
to put down
such
the
a Kazuya hater, bro. That's like, I hate Kazuya. But that's.
So do you agree with this? The newest tier list has Kazuya outside of the top 10. Do you think that's...
No, I mean, I think Kazuya is really good. I think Kazuya is better than Aegis and better than Snake and better than Palu.
Diddy Kong Joker Peach.
Better than Palu, yeah.
I think that character is really good. I think that character, like, having moves that bypass literally every other move in the game because that's just how they coded it in.
Also,
plus defensive options.
Like
Did you guys see the clip of? I don't remember who it was, but T was playing against somebody, hit an electric on shield, and then like true punish to them shielding electric and
oh really
kill them for it. Yeah, there's some way to like pressure after hitting an electric on shield. Yeah, because it stuns and shifts so far. It's like you can still follow it up even if they shield it.
Yeah, I mean like we also haven't seen a Kazuya player take Kazuya all the way in my opinion. Like every top Kazuya that we've seen, like is it Alice who's in Japan who plays like Roy and Kazuya? It's a secondary. Like for T is it secondary, for Riddles it's a secondary. Like everyone that
great pocket.
Everyone, I mean, that's also fair.
Yeah, that's true. Kazuya is a perfect like if you struggle against like Mario, just pull out the Kaz and start electric. And
I know.
Like,
or just like if you have a
funny
it's just
matchup.
like
it's not fun.
If they for some reason don't ban FD, you get it free. You
that's true.
Win the game.
That's true.
You know, it's just
depending on the rule set, I guess. Do most tournaments run stage first or character first?
Character first.
Character first.
But, I don't know.
Well,
I think Universal MSU has character first. I think
it should be character first.
I agree. So did you guys want to shift to Genesis?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
What are we thinking about it? Like in terms of winners, the top 2 seeds are or top 4, I guess. Sonics, Mia, Spargo, Tweak. That seems. I like Tweak being seated that high. He's been a dog.
He's not gonna make it that far.
I think this tournament.
He looks so sad.
Yeah, I would like.
Have you seen it? Look at his bracket pad.
His brackets are up. I actually
it's
I listened to
one of the worst brackets.
I listened to Tweak's podcast and he like went through his bracket and there are a lot of hard matchups for Tweak specifically. Like he has to fight Goblin to even make it into top 64 or something,
beaten.
And he's like 0-3 against Goblin last time or something.
What happens in Tweak Goblin? Isn't that a good match?
I think it's a Roy thing. He's not.
I think it's also been a long time ago, like back when he like played Wolf against Roy kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that far ago.
Back when Goblin was like one of the higher level.
Yeah,
fights.
and that's also true.
I know. He has to play.
He has to beat Gluto to make top 8.
Yeah, and he has to play Yara, number 1 Samus, and Onin.
No.
So that's why he.
Onин's
that's why
hard
I
too.
don't want him to make it far. I want Onin to beat him.
Yeah. He has Onin first round of top 32.
So it's Goblin into Onin into Yara into Gluto.
This is a pretty nasty Onin bracket. Looking at this,
that's actually so doable.
It's Tweak, Yara, Gluto. He has so much Samus practice. His
Icy Mist and
his gameplay against Icy Mist doesn't exactly inspire me, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying? He clearly knows what he's doing against Samus. He has like quite a bit of practice.
Yeah. I think they're gonna kill it. I believe it. I'm definitely a big Onin fan going to Genesis.
love seeing regional crossovers like that, right? Like we see Onin Icy Mist and we see Yara Akola so much. Yeah. So I like when those types of crossover happens. That's why I love majors so much, you know? Like seeing Meister got a good win it was Kinanabe beat Meister, and it was like, oh snap, the Fox just beat the Game & Watch, and like the regional overlap. I think stuff like that is so exciting.
Who do you think is gonna win Genesis? Like, what's your guys?
I think Sonics.
Yeah.
I think Sonics has been like from like an outsider perspective, Sonics looks like he has been putting in the most work. Yeah. And like
Sonics has been playing the fuck out of this game.
Like
because. Is winner semis seeded to be Sonics,
Tweak, Mia, Spargo?
Okay, so
that could be like
that could be anything though.
Yeah,
I think the person that is most likely to be in that spot is Sonics. Of those 4, 100%. I think it's Sonics.
And I think Spargo has a decent chance.
Of course. I mean, yeah. I know Sonics is fucking fantastic.
I wasn't assuming that you meant like, oh, it's free. Yeah. I'm just saying, I think for Spargo, I think Mia has the best chance at beating Sonics. And so if Mia could do that, and then I think Sonic, it's like an RPS in my head. Like, Spargo's gonna beat Mia. Mia's could beat Sonics, and Sonic.
I don't think it's like that at all. I mean,
you know what?
They have a very close. All of them. They play each other and they have a close record. You know.
You know what I'm excited to see is the Anthony isn't cool run. Because he was talking.
He's going to Genesis?
He's going, and he was. He really likes his bracket. He plays. It's either Bloom or Lima. I don't remember, but he has like, it's probably Bloom. He plays Bloom, and he's played Lima in like 2 money matches and like 3-0'd him both times. He has a lot of AO practice.
And he's played Geist before.
Yeah, Geist. He beat Geist as well. He really likes his bracket.
Let's go, Michigan. Onan.
Yeah, dude, Onan and Anthony in top 32 would be mighty swell.
Zenoto's also going, I think.
Is he? Good.
He's in bracket. I mean, I don't know if he's going technically, but he's in bracket.
That'd be lame.
Yeah.
No, but I think Onan has
That's
a
my guy.
really good bracket, it seems.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Onan, like, it could be like
Fuck
Onan
off, Steve.
Glutony for top 8. And I like Onan's odds there.
I think
Like, that's
Onan
pretty
wins that,
awesome.
yeah.
I agree.
Is he like 1-1 against Gluto, or is... I think
I
they
don't know,
played at like
actually.
SmashCon 2022 when Onan won.
Yeah.
Which I think he...
I don't know if
He's
they
like first
played a
coming out.
second time. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear the Tony bracket?
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's 3 people I've never heard of in his first pool.
Oh, yeah.
And then naturally, and then okay, his first round of pools. This isn't even top 38. Is Bloom Forever, which
Is Bloom? Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
one he was talking about. He thinks that's a really like realistic upset for him.
Okay.
Into MK Big Boss, which is
Rob?
like hard but very possible. He has a lot of raw practice.
Yeah, he does have a lot of
from
raw
around
practice.
here.
He's got
that's
to play very fast.
that's for
Big
top
Boss plays
64
fast.
already. I think he said he's seeded to get 128. I think, but that's for top 64 already. That's Bloom into Big Boss. And then that would put him against Spargo, where I think that's like
Yeah,
I don't
trying
think
to
that's
out-sortie,
happening.
the best sortie player in the
You're
world.
right.
That's
It's
hard.
a little out of your pedigree.
I mean the craziest thing ever. Into Ouch the Wolf.
Oh.
Into Lima again. So 2 Bayos.
Yeah, you better
the
be
dream.
ready.
Into Yara Zamba, and this is where we start
Oh.
getting into like dream territory.
Yeah.
Where it's like this
The
is
Spargo's not the dream territory.
he's getting much
Yeah,
less
right.
likely into like light. That's like top 8, but he has a decent like top
Yeah.
32 run. You know,
I
it's pretty
think
exciting.
Yeah, I think brackets like this are. I wanted to say that I think this
so
Genesis is like the most exciting bracket that I've seen in like a year and a half or something.
Really?
I don't remember the
I
last
agree.
time that I saw a bracket that was this exciting for me. Like,
Yeah.
like it just has like everyone is there. Like other than Aquila, I don't like everyone is there.
no.
See, and the thing is, I'll say this.
no.
I think that makes it more exciting.
That also I agree. I agree, bro.
It's like the people that aren't there make me more excited for this. And this is one of those where my favorite way to judge a bracket is because I always think the most fun part of a bracket is like top 8 quals. Typically, I think that's when like the most exciting matchups
Top
are happening.
64 is always cooler than top 8. I feel like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
That's
I
when,
also feel that
like
way.
upsets still happen. There's still
Yeah.
players that play like unorthodox because
Well, there's
they're,
also,
like, still running.
I mean, there's also like as a viewer perspective. I mean, maybe there's 2 streams going on. Maybe it's a quad stream, but like during the top 64 part, you're watching a set, like you're like, oh my god, this one's game 5, and then like that game 5 ends, and you're like, oh my god,
that's
this one's
also
game
game
4.
5.
You know,
Yeah,
like oh my god, like you don't have to like not to be a a pig or whatever, but you don't have to waste your time through the first 2 games
sure.
of play that you like
Yeah.
may not even want to see.
That's
right?
that moment in a major where it's just like super snappy, like tense scenario after tense scenario,
Yeah.
especially if you're in person, sprinting from setup to setup in the venue, trying to see all the sets. That's like as fun as Smash gets as a spectator.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, looking at like losers top 8 qualifiers, it's Gluto Riddles, Shuton T, Ken MK Leo, Light Zamba. That's so fun.
That is-
You know, like
Yeah, that's a lot
all
of
of
fun
those
sets.
sets are so exciting. And then like DeBuzz Leo could be a blast. You know what I mean? I love watching DeBuzz
I
so
hope
much.
Leo does some good stuff.
Yeah, it would be
like
dope to
watching
see
Leo a lot.
Leo repeat because he won Genesis last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's won
I think
4 times he's done it.
I think
4?
I think he's won 5 of his 6 Genesis
5 of
that he's entered.
God.
So
Leo making
it's
a
it's
run
the
would be
Leo
exciting.
tournament. It's
Yeah.
definitely Leo's
It
tournament.
is. Do you guys know if Mudace is going?
I'm
a big
don't
Mudace
know.
fan.
I don't know
I
offhand.
think they are, if I'm guessing.
Mudace is so fun for me because I always talk about how I value a peak so much more than
Oh,
consistency.
the Genesis last year
And,
run.
and Mudace is like my guy for that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because it's like second at Genesis and then like 128th at that or 129th at that Japan tournament. So like that's
I got you.
that's Mudace is like my reasoning behind that. Right?
Mudace's Genesis Genesis 9 run
Yeah.
was like one of the best losers run in like all of Smash Ultimate history.
Yeah.
It's like right up
Yes.
right next to like the pre-COVID Frostbite 2020
Leo.
Leo
Yeah.
Leo losers run.
That run was
right.
insane.
That tournament was Electric, dude. That tournament was
I
so
remember
dope. I
being
wasn't even
there.
there.
I was there.
I
yeah.
was there.
It was so cool.
I think
That was also the same tournament where Toast Younglink made a run, right?
Yeah.
I was-
Light for top
That's
eight.
to this day one of my favorite runs in Smash
Wrath
history.
also made it.
On the side stream there was Light versus Void, and
Void.
they like there's like that famous picture where
Yeah.
they look like the same person.
One got blown up by
Yeah, one got blown up by
Yeah.
Dynamite. Yeah.
I love that
Void
thought.
just on ketamine or something.
He's like, his eyes are like popping. Yeah.
Way too dilated.
I love that thought that we're in the same room talking now, but we were like at that big tournament. We just didn't know who we were. Like, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
who
that's
at all.
yeah.
Like
I'm
it
with
makes
you.
sense, obviously. But it's
I'm
just
with you,
cool
I'm
to
with
think
you.
of.
Like you probably weren't thinking in that moment like, oh, we're gonna like talk about this as like a peak of the game in like 4 years. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or like
'Cause a lot of
or
people
he's
talk-
like he was also talking about like the people. He's like he didn't know that there would be some guy named Gary walking around that room that he would see 4 years later.
Yeah, and that like would become like close-ish friends with. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm excited to see all these Michigan runs. That's dope. I think Tony and Onan both have great brackets, and I love just like anytime Michigan is at a major, I get so excited. I get all
Yeah.
giddy and stuff because it doesn't happen very often these days, you know. So I always get pumped. But I guess in terms of topic, those were the two like main ones that we wanted to cover.
Yeah, did you have any stories you wanted to tell or thoughts about the video game that you wanted to put into the world?
Thoughts about in the world?
In
That's
terms
a
of
little
audio
scary.
form?
I was gonna ask you about just like your like general philosophies on improving as a player because I feel like you're one of the more like self-analytical players that I talk to in the state, or at least you're the one that's most likely to be outward about that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure all the PR players like, oh, how should I improve? Like have those thoughts, but like I feel like you're the ones that's like out there asking people, talking about it the most often. So I guess I feel like it's a good idea to touch on your general improvement philosophies and stuff.
Yeah. That's a hard question. I will say I have a big issue with the way I want to improve is not how I improve. They're very different things. How I improve, for example, is just slamming my head against a wall until I finally figure something out.
That's the Tony advice.
Yeah. I'm not one to like calculate something all the time. I'll try, and I love doing it. I love thinking about it. But generally, I just try my best to just keep going at something.
Because there's like two types of improvers in Smash. There's the Tony, which is just play constantly and just play until you figure it out. And then there's the B-Gourd, where you just like watch the game and don't play that much, and you figure it out through different means. So you like wish you were a B-Gourd, but you're a Tony in practice?
I would say like in tournament, sure, but I don't play a lot. Like I'm not a grinder. But
True.
But I mean, just like I get frustrated a lot. I'm an emotional person, and so I like.
Yeah.
I definitely my head goes out the window sometimes, and I just want to.
Do you find advantages in being an emotional player?
Yeah.
In bracket, like, because there's obviously everyone talks about like he gets like mad a lot, and that's like what being an emotional player means. But what do you find are like things that you like about being an emotional player?
I think it's just the double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Double-edged sword.
Because a lot of people, I think, for the longest time, whenever I heard somebody talk about me in terms of Smash, they'd always be like, "Oh, Cal, he's good, but he's really inconsistent." You know, that's all. I feel like
No, because that's what Drew said.
I'm like the most inconsistent player
Well,
in Michigan,
'cause,
according
like,
to everybody.
That was like you and I think it was Superhero for a while were like beefing over like no, I'm more inconsistent.
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah.
I'm more.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
it was
gosh.
like a genuine discussion over
For me,
who
it was
is the most.
satire. I don't really care, but
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
say it's just a double-edged sword. It's like going, you know, I would lose to players that I wouldn't want to lose to, or not even. It wasn't the player that was the issue. It was just like the performance, the objective. People would look at this performance and be like, "Oh, that's not the best performance," and then I would go ahead and beat, you know, and have a great performance. I'm very like not, you know, I'm just polarizing, and I think it's fun because the emotional part, to answer the question, is like when you get in the zone, when it's like you're not fighting the emotions, but you're using it to play.
Like, I'm
it's
pissed, let me beat this guy.
It's the most fun I've ever had playing the game. It's like when I'm just I'm just playing the game. I'm just fully immersed into it. It's fun.
Do you have like a good run or set like you remember?
I was about to ask. I feel like you're speaking with an example in mind.
I
when
mean,
you say that.
there's a few like of just tournaments in my life where that's happened. I can't think of like
for some reason, when I think of good Cal run, for some reason, the first one that comes to mind still was like your first good run ever when you got, I think you got second at, I think, SDD, losing to like Goma.
Yeah.
And I remember that was like when I was still pretty disconnected from the scene, but I was like, Callum's legit. He's a PR player now. Second place is so crazy. And I was like so pumped.
I think just like a few movement runs, there'd be some where I would just...
Yeah, you've had some crazy
I'd
ones.
beat like, I think like 2 PR players in the same tournament or something like that, where I just had a really good losers run. And I remember playing against a set, I forget against who, but I was just so like emotionally in it. I was reading their movements so hard. I just like in neutral read that they would jump onto a platform and raw flare blitz them and just killed them at 80.
That was Spection.
Like stuff like that.
It was Spection. Because Spection did PK fire on the platform and Cal double jumped flare blitzed. And I was like, holy shit, dude. He was like because that was also in a period of time where like Cal Inspection had like a really back and forth bracket history but it was kind of like what Tony and Dice do, where it's like Cal would win 3, Spection would win 3, Cal would win 3, and they would like trade, you know what I mean? So that was in a period of time where Cal had like just won after losing 4 in a row, and then they played again the next week, and like I was talking to Cal about it, because usually when he has to play Spection, he's like, fuck, you know, like I don't want to do this. So I was like
Ness, dude.
I was like, Cal, you got like Spection next, and he was like, let's go. And I was like, oh snap, he's in it, you know what I mean?
But I don't know, I was gonna ask Gary, like, I feel like we are different a lot in that regard, how we play. I don't know why, but that's just the vibe I get.
Really?
Where when I play, I'm kind of a hothead a lot of times. Actually, I'd rather ask, how do you feel when you play against me? Because fun fact, Gary's never beaten me in bracket.
No.
When did you beat
No.
me?
I beat you with Wario.
Oh, you did beat me with Wario.
I beat you with Wario.
How do you beat me with your Wario?
Yeah, I beat you. I was wearing the red overalls.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was in the movement lobby.
Actually, I think you've beaten me
So
twice.
how do you think the red overalls affect your gameplay?
Low-key, I think he did not like my Wario. I think he
No,
was not
I hated
fucking
your
with it.
What what kind of Wario do you play? Do you play a Runaway Forever Wario or
No.
What do you? I play I would describe my
Chomp.
Wario as like I try to play everything around like shield mix-ups. It's like are you in shield or are you not in shield, and then everything revolves around that.
Yeah.
I don't really think like I never got good at like doing the low one thing where like if I don't like a situation, I just get out, and he's really good at getting out of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I played Dice during my mini Wario phase, like I would just be getting up tilted on my shield and I wouldn't know what to do. Like I'd just
Yeah.
be lost. And every time like Chris like rolls out. But
he's so good
or like
at that.
or
So
like
fascinating.
or like Loaf. I think Loaf is like pretty good at like recognizing when he can get a hit and then just making the most out of it like every time. And like
Yeah.
obviously even Gluto is even better at that.
Yeah, Loaf is
So-
pretty like techie with the way
Yeah,
he plays.
right. Yeah. And I mean I don't
Especially
know.
with items. You give Loaf an item, it like he goes
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Well, my answer to your question is mostly like I think that you also go through like phases of like playing good, and it can be like within a day or even within like an hour. Like you can like play better or play worse, and that's just like that's just like how it goes. I mean, I feel that too. I'm pretty emotional too when I play. I don't know if you know this, but
No,
I definitely
seen it.
am.
I've seen it a few times when you've.
I definitely am. I've been like on top of the world and on and in rock bottom.
Right.
So
many times.
you felt. I feel like every player honestly feels that, but I don't know. With improvement, it's hard. I think a lot of times I get stuck. I'm just like I don't know what to do, and oftentimes when I'm stuck, I stop thinking as much. Like I stop overanalyzing because usually I feel like the reason why my neutral's decent or something is just because I try to think something out. Like in my head, whenever I have a problem, I always just attribute it to lack of knowledge. I didn't know something. I could have outthought.
Yeah.
I could outthink this situation, and I haven't. And let me just have that situation over and over until I outthink it.
Yeah, because there was that period of time I remember like a big issue that you would have. It was like every time you played a character with like a mid-tier projectile, you would just like respect it infinitely, right? I remember watching you play against Wilf, and every time Lloyd Rocket was out, you were double jumping in the back corner of the stage. You know what I mean? And like that was definitely a good example.
That's a weird
of you just like figuring out how something works and being like, oh, I like know how to play against this now, and then kind of getting yourself out of a funk. Because I know your recent thing was like, or I guess this isn't exactly a recent thing. It's kind of been something that's been on and off for you like for a long time. Is you were like, oh, I have a game plan now, right? And then you kind of realized the importance of having a game plan. Which, what do you think is like the big deal with having a game plan for you specifically?
I think I'm gonna say one thing. I don't know why my brain always goes to comparing it with other people, and this is a good way. I think. I don't know. I feel that there's a lot of players that the way I think requires brain power, is the way I put it. I don't like not like
these me gunner players are just not playing with any brain power.
not in a cocky way. I think the game plan's good because it makes it so a lot of situations you're not always focusing on. Where I felt like when I was playing, a lot of times I was focusing on every single thing that was happening at once. So not in a good way brain power. I mean, I was overthinking. I was overexerting
you're
myself.
Exhausting yourself.
Trying to think of everything. And so when I started to simplify things and just go, oh, I'll look for certain things, it just made it so I could focus on what was driving the set more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I usually think a lot of times when I'm thinking very clearly, there's only like 3 or 4 main interactions that dictate a set for me, where it's like, we'll get our little advantage strings, but in neutral, it's like, are you tomahawking me for something, or how am I working around a certain tool that you have, and it's just who can play that game a little better.
I think like a good example is that something like basketball has very clear times about when you should be like focus, like 100% focused, and when you don't really need to. And like trying to find those kind of times in Smash Bros is a challenge, right?
Definitely.
It's like when, I mean, maybe
Do you mean like
even
interaction to interaction or set to set?
I mean like in the course of a 5-minute game of Smash Bros.
Okay.
When can you find time? Like my example is in basketball, right? Someone scores. Right, you turn your brain off, you run to the other side, right? Like there's no complications to it.
Yeah.
Right, you're not like worried about some niche thing that's gonna happen right now. And Smash Bros, like you have to find those spots for you.
When can you just run to the other side of the court?
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to full court press for no reason.
Right. And
like Cloud has back air, cross slash, forward air.
Yeah, so when you're Cloud and your opponent is in the corner, you can kind of just run across the court and just like hit that back air button, keep them there, and then like figure out what they're doing.
Sometimes it can even be like a buffered situation that you think is going to happen. Like if Cloud is going to do like full space back air cross slash, and you know that you want to do cross slash, like even for that half a second of time, like you don't have to like super press your brain about what's going on. And that like little bit of time can relieve you of a little bit of stress that might happen later. And that like management, that like finding those times of management is like, I don't know. It's like a hard concept to like explain or like to talk about. It's like
that's also, I think, a key to overcoming any plateau at any level of this game is being able to find like halves of seconds or like slight interactions where you can know what's going to happen rather than having to worry about what's coming next. Because I think even at my level, I'll think of like O2 when I was winning like no sets, like nothing good was ever happening. I would play against like a boom answer, and there wouldn't be a single second in the entire set where I would be like, oh, I know what's going to happen next. I don't really have to worry about it. Right? So that's the thing that happens at every level, and I think
that's a good way to explain
that's a very
it too.
Good way.
Yeah. That's the big difference between different levels of play is how often do you know what's about to happen, and how often are you totally lost.
I get a lot of like value out of like even just like my Smash 4 experience. It's like I know that when I'm in this situation, whether it be against Villager or Bowser Jr. or Bayonetta or like whatever character, or like Robin, it's like I basically know what this Robin player is going to press in the situation because I've just seen it before. So I don't even have to use brain power. Like I know that when I hit like a safe aerial on this Robin player's shield, they're trying to roll in. Right? Like I just know that that's like what they want to do.
So it's like just execution at that point.
Yeah, and it's also like I don't have to think about what on earth in the world of possibilities in Smash Bros could happen right now. I only have to look for roll, not roll. And that like simplification of it makes like the whole process a lot easier. Or like Villager, like when Villager's on ledge doing like Lloyd Rocket.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for Lloyd Rocket.
And so you know how to punish it.
Right.
And stuff.
That's another thing that I think is a concept that is very prevalent in like mid and higher level gameplays is it's just kind of like a yes or no, will they, won't they? So it's less of a roll read. It was like I kind of knew that you were gonna roll, so then like the moment I saw that roll, I reacted to it, but I wasn't reacting to all of your options.
Yeah.
I was reacting to yes or no.
Yeah. That's a good way. That's also another good way of explaining it.
Because that's the thing that a lot of people struggle with is that when they like, I guess to use an example of a cloud player, when a cloud player lands with back air on shield, there's like a few things that your opponent could do next, right? Jump, roll, attack, roll away. And if you have an idea of what your opponent's doing, it becomes a lot easier to quote unquote read it than if you're trying to react to literally every single option. You can react to a jump if it's the only thing you're looking for, but not if you're looking for literally everything.
Yeah, 100%. I think a big thing to do in those situations, if you're panicking or you feel like you don't understand, a lot of times I would just not give up, but I would just sit back and relax. I would stop like hyper fixating, and I would just say, okay, take a step back, get hit by a few things, and just think about it. Be like, like this is, when you stop putting so much pressure on yourself, you can you have an easier chance of seeing it.
My tool that I always use to help me in that spot when I'm like getting overwhelmed by a million things and don't know what's happening, because that still happens to me quite often, right? Pretty much
happens
every time.
to me too with
happens
Steve.
To me too.
Yeah, like anytime I play against a character.
Dude, I hate Steve.
Whenever I play against a player that's like anywhere close to PR level that I haven't played like 20 times, you know what I mean? So like a you or a Robbie, someone I've played a bunch. I like the whole game, I don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So typically what I'll do to kind of start like piecing things together and like have a chance is I'll think about like what one thing are they hitting me with every time? Because usually players at that level, you were talking about the game plan earlier, there's like against lower level players, they have one thing in their game plan that they're going to hit you with until you stop getting hit by it, right? So I'll try to think what's one thing that keeps hitting me, and then what can I do to avoid that? Typically, it's a very strong option, hard to avoid, a cloud back air or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you can think of just like how to not even punish it, not get around it, but just don't get hit by it, don't let them get an extension off of it.
That's a good example.
That's typically the way I break it down. Is just, okay, don't get grabbed. Not to like use that example, but
it's very interesting, the preventative game plan versus the established game plan. I feel like a lot of PR players, especially when I play against them, they have an established game plan before they even play. Not even I know everything. It's just there are a few things they want, and based on how many PTs they've played, they know what they want, or any character. And so I find a lot of times if I ever beat a PR player, it's because I've played them enough, or I've thought about it enough, where I'm just, I can prevent this game plan from happening, and I just get lucky, and I'm able to prevent the game plan from happening, as opposed to like having my own thing where I'm trying to, I don't know, establish my own like, I can just turn off my brain here, and this tool works really well here. I'm thinking, they like doing this, or they're trying to do this. How can I maximize a punish off of it?
And I think you play preventative game plans more than a lot of other people, like around your level, to a detrimental effect. And you've talked about this a lot, to just me at least, about how like you'll be trying to play a preventative game plan against somebody that if you were playing your game plan, you would have a much easier time playing against them than you would if you weren't playing preventative.
I think like in general, this is like very, very, very broad, but in matchups that it's like required that you are the approacher. I think you need to try to make your game plan happen, and I think it can almost like specifically for like a Wolf, PT, Mario, even like Roy, like someone that like has like sometimes you can play a Roy that camps, right? If you're playing if you're playing a Palutena or something like that, like you can try.
I love a Roy that camps, dude.
Like you can try to play someone that camps, but like if you play against a character that benefits from that, then now you have to approach, and now you have to do those kind of situations.
Yeah.
So
see, because I think even like what people think of as like the most aggressive characters in the game, like the example that you used of Roy, it's like what they're doing when they're approaching is they're looking for the one movement that their opponent keeps doing that they can punish and they can approach with. Mm-hmm. So if their opponent has like a just very sound and safe movement that they can't really ever get free hits off of, then you can't really approach for free in the same way. Yeah. So you could like I guess camping, but like in the sense that you're just waiting for that one thing that you find.
Yeah.
And the only reason it looks like camping is because they give you that one thing so much less.
Yeah.
So it looks more like camping.
I was gonna say that like the best Roy and Fox players are huge people that just force everyone to play their game plan.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Light and Cola are just making everyone play their game.
But
you know,
if you could force them off it somehow, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. And some people like their game plan. I mean, they also have the 2 best aggressive game plans in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so they're able to make their game plan better than other people's. And so like, but if you're playing at our level, right, just because someone is aggressive or whatever doesn't mean that you can't beat them or like
definitely
not.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard. I struggle with that kind of play, the Roy, the Fox, especially the Palu. Like characters, I have a hard time where they use their movement to try and bait out an option because you're trying to punish it, and that's what they're trying to do is, I'm gonna use my movement, wait for you to rising aerial me and I'll punish it, or do something that's not safe. It's that kind of thing where their mobility or their tool, it feels like it trumps any tool that I could use to control the pace. And so now I have to either be more aggressive and stuff them out, or it's the opposite where I have to just play really safe and kind of dance with them.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Yeah, and that's where it's difficult, where it's the game plan sometimes. A lot of characters have just stronger game plans.
You know what? I think that's where like players as a community draw the line between camping and like cool neutral and like dancing, right? Is like the characters that camp are just waiting for you to approach, where the characters that dance and the characters that play fun neutral are like they're also not approaching, but they're a little bit closer when they do it.
In your face.
And they're like
they're a little bit closer.
Waiting to see what you're going to throw out rather than like throwing something out and hoping you get hit by it. Where I think characters that like camp, quote unquote, can like make you get hit by stuff by like throwing out projectiles, throwing out their moves. Where characters that dance and play neutral, they can't make you get hit, but they can make you jump.
Yeah.
They can make you shield.
Why are you hitting yourself? Like that's what I feel like they're doing.
Why are you jumping? Why are you jumping?
Why are you jumping? Like, and that's what they do. And it's just hard.
And it's fun. It's awesome. It's so cool.
But it's hard to do at like a high level. That's why I have big respect for the PR players at our state. I feel like Dice is good at it. Rodrigo, ArcD is super good at it, where they just they can dance in your face and just make you bait out an option. Like they'll make you pick an option.
Yeah.
And it just.
Yeah, I feel like especially Falco is made for that. Just like because the way Falco moves is like very much will just like jump in your range and then be just barely out of it. So you have to know when it's happening. What are you guys laughing at?
Falco up tilt. I'm just laughing about Falco.
Oh,
up tilt.
Falco up tilt.
Dance. What do you
move,
call
like,
it?
I have an interesting question. Not interesting question. I think it's interesting.
It better be fucking interesting.
Who? A lot of pressure now. Who's your like favorite PR players in the state to watch? Because like
Me?
for me, I love.
Okay, it depends.
Yeah.
Are we in state or out of state?
We're
Am I watching them play someone else,
Oh.
or am I watching them play someone in Michigan?
Okay. Well,
Because I have an answer for both, like pretty quickly.
And are they considerably different? Then just give both. If
Yeah.
they're pretty quick.
So if I'm watching them play against somebody in the state, it's Rodrigo or Broly. I think
Okay.
they're both so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And if I'm watching them play someone out of state, it's Suspect and Tony.
Okay.
Like both pretty comfortably, I think.
Yeah.
Because like watching Tony like hit finishing touch game 5 last hit against Loaf is like.
Did he actually do that?
Yes, it was at Riptide, like to make the upset, and like that's the coolest shit ever as a spectator. Watching Suspect beat Tariq and then stand up and look all sad. Do you guys ever see the comparison I posted of Suspect after beating Tariq versus after Rydra beat Louis Money?
Yeah.
Beats Tariq, he's all sad. Rydra beats Louis Money. He's like, let's fucking go.
I think Rydra's fun to watch. Rydra's cool to watch when I get there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I like the movement characters. So it's like Rodrigo is probably my favorite to watch. I mean, I love Onan, but Onan doesn't go to any Michigan tournaments.
Onan's definitely up there in terms of like
I
watching him play against other people because like watching like Tony and Suspect, it's like, oh, they might beat Loaf or they might beat Tariq. Watching Onan, it's like, oh, he might beat Tweak.
Everybody.
He might beat Light.
Well,
that's so fun. Just
also
like watching him play against these big names and being like, holy shit, he's winning. That's so funny.
I also just think they're fun to watch, like genuinely. Of
course.
Like not even just the bias of Michigan. I watch them and I'm like, oh, this is cool.
I don't think it's an incredibly biased statement to say that Onan is one of the more fun Steves to watch. You know what I mean?
No, I genuinely think so.
he's said this himself as something that's not good that he doesn't like about his gameplay is that he wishes that he could play like the other Steves, but he gets bored and his monkey brain wants to approach and like press a button. You know what I mean? And that's why he like places a block in the blast zone and F smashes to read a jump instead of like slowly falling with anvils and like planking, you know? Which is why he's fun, is because he can't control himself. You know what I'm saying?
Low impulse control Steve is just
right. So what are your favorite players to watch? You said Rodrigo's up there.
Rodrigo Dice is big for me.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Dice versus Doorstop is like,
very
so
fun. I just think Dice versus any character. I'm a big Dice fan. I guess that's a little MSU bias. I like most of the people.
Yeah, it helps that Dice is just like a great guy. Like, I just love talking to Dice. He's like so dope.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're all amazing people, especially at MSU. They're like the nicest, kindest people you'll meet.
Yeah.
But
do you care about PR
funny.
players?
It's actually funny that the first two people that we had on the pod are the two people that I want to say, which are Robbie and Broly.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites.
Robbie's fun. I agree.
I like Robbie plays, and also Zenodo. But that's like kind of
Zenodo's fun.
He's like not on PR anymore. But
that's like
yeah.
I view Zenodo and Onin as like an already understood thing in this conversation. Like, of course, they're both up there because they're the ones that are actually competing with like the best players of other states. So I don't view that as something we have to talk about. It's just a pre-understood thing. Like, yeah, Zenodo and Onin are fun to watch when they play against PGR players. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about Robbie that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think Robbie plays, and Robbie and Zenodo both play in a way that like makes a lot of sense to me. And like just on like a personal thing, like I like watching what I can understand and what I can like relate to, I guess.
That's
like
only natural.
As opposed to like I don't know. I watched like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like
with Rob?
I don't like I watch Dice and like I don't really get it. Like
what?
I don't know. Like not to like I like watching him, but like
not that
it doesn't give that I know what's going on here.
Not
like,
that you don't understand why.
From the Falco perspective, I actually really like watching Daybreak's Falco. Daybreak's Falco makes a lot of sense to my brain.
Do you feel like you're almost like putting yourself in the shoes of the players?
Oh yeah, and that's only right,
on some like I could do that like type shit.
Yeah, that's why I mean like that's why I don't like watching Suspect. It's like I couldn't imagine like I just like physically can't like not to be like that, but you know.
No, I know it's not in the sense that
we love that.
Like you can't imagine doing that from like a moral standpoint. That's just not
how you play. That's just like not how I play.
That's not how your brain understands the game to be entertaining. So,
I think mine's ironically the inverse, where I feel that the players I appreciate most are the ones I recognize that I could not do what they do. And I think the way that Rodrigo and Dyson play, it's so fluid in a way that I can really appreciate because I'm not saying I can't do it, but it's certainly something I don't think I'm strong at. I'm like, that's so cool that that's what they do. It also just looks cool. I don't know. If it's
Rodrigo's gameplay is butter.
If it's aesthetically pleasing, nice then I'm,
like even like he's one of those players where I feel like when I'm watching him lose, it feels like he's winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because like the way he moves in neutral is like very confident. He presses forward as if he's winning every game that he's playing, right? Or I'll watch him play against like Hawk and lose, but the two stocks that he takes are like so cool. And like just like there's such like nice sequences. Rodrigo plays like he's listening to jazz.
100%.
You know, he's just like so fluid with all this movement.
Same with Rob though in that way. I like Rob's grenade plays.
And he listens to hip hop. I like what Rob listens to. There was one time it was Rob and maybe So Good Pop realized that they were listening to the same song. And like,
oh, really?
Yeah, they were just coincidentally listening to
crazy.
Half Doing Dope by JID, which is a great song. And they put me onto that. Robbie, if you're watching this, thank you. I listen to that song a lot now. Dude, and Broly was listening to a Santana song, and he put me on a Santana. Thank you, Broly.
Really funny story. I remember one time I was at a bear cave, and I'm just being Callum and just being depressed after a loss. The normal
Callum shit.
The normal.
Which era of Callum post-loss depression?
It's all a murky field for me, dude.
Okay.
It's all.
Are we talking like lay on the floor depressed or like walk out of the room depressed?
No, just like sit on a couch.
Sure. Okay.
And
Sulk on a couch.
Broly goes up to me and he's really nice. He's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, just complaining, and whatever it is, it's probably irrational. And Broly's just trying to do his best to console me. So thank you, Broly. And he's like, "You know what you got to do, Callum?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, you just gotta go on YouTube and look up Michael Jackson and just play Michael Jackson. He's like, that shit will keep you alive. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, just play some He's just like, just.
Broly is such like a forget about it kind of guy.
Like,
He's like, bro, just go like play some video games, beat your meat, play like listen to music, have a good time. You know what I mean?
He's just like, hey, fuck out of here.
Right.
Like,
I'm pretty sure he said that to me. Just like that's why I use that example. Like
that's
just
how he
like
plays.
Yeah. He plays to have fun for sure. And then when he doesn't have fun, he goes and has fun doing something else by like yelling at the TO or like starting an argument about I walked into Bear Cave. I'm bringing my friends to their first tournament ever because they go to OU and they wanted to like play Melee with people, so they brought a Melee setup to Bear Cave.
Okay.
Right. So we walk into Bear Cave, and I'm like, oh, Broly's here. I saw him walking in. I'm like, you guys are gonna like Broly.
Oh.
And I walk in, and the first thing I hear from down the hall is Broly go slavery in like full argument, like conversation, just yelling about some random shit.
Okay.
And that is like
I thought he was talking like to you about your friend. I was like,
no. He's like arguing with somebody about
Okay,
like the
okay.
implications of slavery because that's like what he does.
Yes,
if
that is
if he's
what it
playing
is.
Smash and he's not having fun, he's gonna go find a way.
yeah,
to have fun.
and he liked hard edge topics, right? Yes.
Oh yeah, he's
right.
like he's gonna walk into Movement on the mic and say this is why kids should do more drugs because he thinks it's funny. You know what I mean?
No, I remember one of my first interactions with Broly ever was back when he started arguing that I think Bowser was better than Wolf or Bowser was the same.
Yes,
that was-
Yeah, you remember that?
He got Coney on this shit. Coney said it on the mic at Frostbite or at Gobble
Really?
2022.
Yeah.
Wait, was that
Yeah.
did that originate with Owen or like did it because
I think
because that was
a Broly.
that was the bit for a long time was trying to convince people that Bowser was a better wolf because they both have projectile neutral bees, but Bowser's fair is so much bigger. Like that was
And down smash, they have the same down smash.
yeah.
Just whatever it was. I just
Yeah.
remember that and it just funny memories like
Wait,
that.
so Coney said that on the mic at Frostbite?
No, at Gomel 2022, I'm pretty sure.
What happened? Like
I don't remember. I think it was just an aside. I think it was like waiting for game 2,
Yeah,
and he
one
just
of
like
those.
mentioned it.
Like when Scripps started singing at Big House last year, you guys remember that?
No,
There was it was like Wrath was like waiting for Onin or something, and then like the crowd was not really there, and Scripps is standing up there because they had him emceeing, and I don't envy having to MC Big House 2023. That's like a pretty like unfortunate spot to be in. So someone was like, "Scripps, sing us something." So he starts singing Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay.
That was funny. He kind of hit it. He's kind of got that voice for it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
He's got that like buttery vocal.
Okay.
It was funny. It was funny.
A lot of fun Michigan Smash moments in my lifetime.
Yeah, Big House is just a generator for those. Like it's so fun at Big House.
Yeah.
I think we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Unless anyone wants to say something as we leave.
All right, thank you for coming on our podcast, Gal.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
That was a good time. We will be keeping our eyes.
We're gonna be a little bit. Probably gonna be a week off. A couple of us are going to a tournament, so
we're gonna be gone next weekend.
So-
Catch me at Full Bloom.
Yeah.
On the mic type shit. This is gonna release after Genesis.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed our like pre-Genesis talk after Genesis. Thank you for sticking in for the whole episode.
Yeah.
This has been the Big 3 Podcast. Thank you for watching.